Welcome to Fitzdog Radio. It's Father's Day. I'm recording this the day before Father's Day, but this is Father's Day week. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what it means to be a father. For me, it means providing. Number one is find a wife that can be everything you're not as a parent. That's the key thing for a father, is don't think that you're going to be nurturing and a provider and present and teach your son to be a man and teach your daughter how to... Here's the thing you can teach your daughter as a father is how to love his wife. You teach your daughter what a real relationship is. That's been my goal. I can't tell my daughter how to use a tampon or any of those other things. This sounds very unevolved, doesn't it? But no, I really think that as a father, the best thing you can do for your kids is to what's the word? Is to portray. It's not portray, but I'm not thinking of my fucking brain the last 3 days is dead. It's mush. I'm on stage, I'm doing crowd work, and I'm not pulling the fucking data that I need at that moment. I did a podcast with Mike Gibbons today for the Sunday paper. I was flat in the second half. So anyway, I don't know what it is. Model. You have to model a good marriage for your children. That's key. But my father accomplished probably 2/3 of those things. So he didn't do a bad job, but I think I did a better job. I am a better father than my father was, and that is a victory of sorts in my life. And I would think that my father was a better father than his father. So my son will be a better father than I am. So my grandson, all right, you get it. You get it until the apocalypse hits. We're all making great progress as the world is ending. We're just getting to be good at this. We're working on race relations. We're working on gender equality. The one thing we're not fucking seriously working on is keeping the entire fucking playing field from imploding. So at least when we die, we'll be evolved about it. And we will not take care of the women and children first. Take care of everybody the same. All right. U.S. Open, I'm watching a lot of golf. I know people go, how can you watch golf? Oh, there's nothing better than sitting and watching golf. It's so relaxing. There's no pressure. There's no competition. It's just a guy and his ball trying to fucking be zen-like, trying to let go of his last bad shot, be present for his next shot. And it's a shame that Tiger's not in it. There's no black golfers at all. You feel some white guilt when you're watching golf. But you know what? If it's Sunday, if that's the only day I'm feeling it, then so be it. I'm going to, my wife is away, by the way. Maybe that's why I'm so out of it. My wife is away and I miss her. It's very hard. Very hard to be without your wife. She's taking care of her mom, who got knee surgery this week in New York. She lives on a 3rd floor walk-up in Manhattan. That's how people live in New York City. You're fucking 81 and you got to climb 3 flights of stairs to your apartment. That's what keeps you alive in New York, you know? Gives you a little fucking edge to her little apartment, you know? Anyway, so the wife is there, so I've taken on a lover. Same sex, so it doesn't feel like cheating. Nice dude. No, I'm obviously watching a lot of golf because there's no competition for the TV. And I'm doing everything. Like, my fucking daughter just graduated high school. My son's in college, and I'm making dinner every night and doing dishes and walking the dogs. How the fuck did they get away with this? Changing. It's changing on Father's Day tomorrow. They're making dinner, they're cleaning up, they're walking the dog. I'm watching golf. An exciting podcast so far. On Monday, I'm playing in this golf benefit. It's for the Los Angeles It's for the Italian American Museum of Los Angeles. So I'm helping raise money for the Italians. Like, they don't have enough fucking money. They don't have enough construction interests. I'm tapping the side of my nose if you're not watching the podcast. They have construction interests in the city. But I'm going to raise some money for them, and it's a fun tournament. It started last year. I played in it then. And Joe Pesci plays. All these old Italian actors playing it. Fucking Vinny Gumbats. And you play golf, and then at the end of the day, everybody gets up after dinner, and you tell a joke. You just tell one joke. And it like a street joke. So there's a total of 25 comedians playing in the tournament. And we each tell one joke. And it's like a contest. And I can't decide which joke to tell. So you guys tell me. Except by the time you hear this, the tournament would have already happened. But I'll tell you what my final three that I'm choosing from are. In order. In ascending order. There's always the one like three nuns die. And they go to heaven, and they get to the pearly gates, and St. Peter says, you got to make one more confession before we allow you into the hallowed grounds of heaven. One more confession. So the first nun says, well, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I touched a penis with my fingertip. And St. Peter says, well, go over there and put your finger in that holy water, and then do 3 Hail Marys, and then you can go into heaven. Second nun goes up and she says, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I put my hand on a penis. And he said, sister, go over to the holy water, dunk your hand in, do 3 Hail Marys, and you may enter the kingdom of God. Suddenly there's a scuffling online. 2 nuns are wrestling, and one of them looks up and says, let me get over there first so I can gargle before Sister Josephine dunks her ass in the water. I fucked it up. That one's too hard to tell. Plus, I didn't want to say Josephine. Why did I pick Josephine as the name? Oh, God. Wrong name to pick. Sister Margaret. Let me get over there before Sister Margaret dunks her ass in the water. The next one is... what was the other one I was thinking of? Old guy goes to the doctor, and the doctor checks him out, and then he's standing there with his wife, really old dude. And the doctor says, okay, I'm going to need a urine sample, a fecal sample, and a blood sample. And the old guy goes, huh? Doctor said, I'm going to need a urine sample, a fecal sample, and a blood sample. Old guy goes, huh? Wife says, give him your underwear. It's fair. It's a B- joke. But I'm leaning towards this. This is a classic Red Fox joke. He says, there's a guy driving a bus, school bus, picks up all kinds of kids. First he picks up the rich kids from the mansions, and then they go through and they pick up all the poor kids from the ghetto, and they're in the bus, and there's black kids and there's white kids, and they're all fighting and they're arguing, and the bus driver just pulls the bus over. He goes, everybody off the bus. Everybody off this bus. And he walks out to them and he goes, listen to me. You're not black. You're not white. You're all orange. From now on, everybody's orange. Now get back on the bus. Dark orange kids in the back. I think that's the winner. Who knows? Here's what I do know is that we are coming out of the pandemic, and some of us are experiencing anxiety, re-entry anxiety. Maybe you've got depression. Maybe you've got ongoing things that could use a little help with. BetterHelp. Fitzdog Radio is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy, I should say. But they are a great organization, and I am a customer. I use BetterHelp. They helped me find an amazing therapist named Sarah, who I've been working with for like the last 3 months, and I'm making great progress. And the great thing about BetterHelp is that it's not just like 1 hour a week you sit there and try to think of shit to say. Sarah checks in with me. She will text me during the week. She will send me worksheets for cognitive behavioral therapy worksheets where you challenge your self-beliefs and things like that. And so it's an ongoing thing. It's whatever kind of therapy you're looking for, they've got somebody who specializes in that. You reach out, you get online with them, you fill out a questionnaire, and within 2 days, they got somebody lined up for you who's a good fit. If you don't like them, that's fine. You can switch without paying extra. Keep switching until you find somebody that works out for you. It's weekly video, phone, or even live chat sessions with your therapist now. I guess now, I shouldn't, I don't know. I would imagine now people can get together in person. I'm not sure. Mine is still online, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with that. It's affordable. It's very affordable, I should say. It's much less than I'm used to paying for therapy. And it is also, if you're having real problems, they have financial aid available, so hit them up for that if you need it. But listen, I highly recommend this. If you've got the money and you can afford this, I just think it's a life changer, and you should get involved in therapy. And I can't think of an easier, faster, more convenient way to do it. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Fitzdog. That's betterhelp.com/Fitzdog. Get yourself a little money off on a great thing. All right. Anyway, let's get to it. My guest today is a guy I've had on a few times. I really think he's going to be one of like the big name comics you're going to be lucky enough to listen to and watch over the next decade or 2 or 3. He's really, he used to be up and coming, and now he's coming. He is coming, baby. I really love him. I think he's hilarious. I just saw his most recent special, and I caught him down in Tampa. He's playing Side Splitters, and he was nice enough to take an hour out and talk to the Fitzdog radio crew, which is me. He does a podcast called We Might Be Drunk with Mark Norman. And I think he's got another podcast too. I'm not sure. But anyway, here it is, my chat with the lovely and talented Sam Morril. I'm sitting in Fitzdog Studios connected through Zoom to, are you a Jew?
I'm a Jew, yeah.
A Jew in Florida, which is always like, it's like in the wild for you people.
Tampa's not as Jewy, though.
No?
I think it's like West Palm, Miami.
Yeah.
Tampa's
Boca
a little
Raton.
more like, you don't see a lot of Jews with chin goatees. That's more the vibe in Tampa, you know? Fred Durst looking dudes.
Right. They got the wraparound sunglasses and pickup trucks. Yeah, Tampa's a weird place, dude.
It is. This club is good. Side Splitters, I love it.
Great club. Yeah.
Bobby Jewell, the legendary owner here, who like, oh my God, used to pick me up drunk every time, just shit-faced. He's got his hairpiece on. He grabs you in his Mercedes as he sings Jersey Boys. You're like, this is not a lot of dudes like this left. 60 years old. He puts a bottle of bourbon down right in front of you. You're like, Jesus.
Yeah. Did the checks clear with that guy?
Thank God, yes.
Yeah. Tampa's like an amalgam of like, you got rednecks, you've got, a black urban population, you've got some retirees. It's like a whole bunch of worlds not coming together. They're all there, but they don't really even mix.
Yeah, Florida is just the weirdest state ever. There's all the it's racism and guns and beaches and your grandma. It's just the weirdest combination.
Cubans,
yeah. This city is like kind of got like all the pro wrestlers live here. I think it's the biggest porn city in America. It's so many weird things coming together here.
There's actually a town in Florida that is a retirement village for circus freaks. Like midgets and little people and like all like trapeze artists, all these people, and there's like a lot of wheelchair ramps and
it's got to be an entertaining condominium, though,
I think they did a documentary about it. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the condominium would be great. Like the talent shows that they would have.
I love it.
Fuck.
I love it. Yeah.
So, and the other weird thing about Tampa is like, holy shit, did they dominate sports in 2020?
Wow, that's true. Yeah. I mean, the Tom Brady thing just feels like not real still.
It doesn't. I know.
It's so weird to leave just being like the fact that he left a great organization and went to Tampa and won is like, that's like if Jordan won with the Wizards.
Right. Well, what happened with Joe Namath though when he's played for the Jets? Wasn't that like an expansion league the first year that he played?
I don't know enough about the NFL in the 60s. I know he won one with the Jets. He did
something like he came out of, I think he went to Alabama, and I think he was either the Heisman, I don't know if he was a Heisman Trophy winner, but he was the guy. He was like the guy everybody wanted. Number one draft pick. And he went to a new league, and then I think they won the Super Bowl within a couple. I don't know. I don't know enough about it either, but
I'm young enough that my first Namath memory is really trying to kiss Susie Colbert as he's just shithouse wasted on Monday Night Football, and she handled it like such a pro. And he's just like, I want to kiss you, and she's like, oh, well, that's very nice. She just was she just seemed like a good person. Yeah,
She could have gone a lot of directions with that, and she took the high road. Yeah. But he goes, my mom belongs to a golf course in Florida that Joe Namath belongs to. And so I was playing with her there one day, and all of a sudden we're like about to tee off, and he comes up and he's like, hey, you mind if we play through? And,
wow.
And then my mom was like, hey, Joe. And he's like, hey, Pat. And he starts flirting with her. He's flirting with my mom, who's old. God. But she's fucking sexy. She's like 79, but she's hot as shit. Big tits, like face looks good, cute legs.
Yeah. You sound like you're trying to set me up now. Look, she's still got it, man. I know that she's a little old for you, but
yeah, she's in Florida, Sam.
Big lips,
right now. Big.
I'm thinking, all right.
And experience. She's got experience. That's the thing.
Yes.
You can't. These young girls, they got the equipment, they don't know how to use it.
That's true. Although, look, equipment is still if you got the outside of a Ferrari, I'm okay with a shitty motor.
Yeah.
It's still something.
Right. Yeah, they used to make those remember those kit cars? They looked like race cars, but like you make them yourself. They cost like $3,000, and they had shitty engines, but they had like a Ferrari looking body.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, all the Guidos in like New Rochelle and Yonkers would have them.
Oh shit! I can't drive. I have a license, but I can't drive a car.
No shit.
I remember I did a road gig with Joe List once, and he was like, "We'll split the driving." I was like, "You got it." And I started driving for like 10 minutes, and he was like, "Dude, this is fucking pull over." And I told him, I remember he got so mad at me. I was like, "Oh, I'm not great at turning," and he was like, "Fuck you." He drove 29 and a half hours, and I drove 30 minutes that road weekend, and I think he hated me for like a solid year for it.
Where did you go, from New York to Florida?
We did a run of casinos. Oh, and it gets better. I remember I put the gig together. We were co-headlining. Joe was so mad at me, I remember, because first off, I booked the wrong. She sent the itinerary, but like the date was at the bottom, so I missed. So for some reason, I fucked up, and I was like, well, we fly in on a Wednesday, but she was like, no, it's a Tuesday, and I was like, well, the tickets are booked, and I don't know what to do. So we flew in the wrong day. Then I fucked up again, and I booked the wrong state. So we landed, no. I think we landed in like Wisconsin, and it was in Michigan, and we had to drive. And the whole way, Joe was like, "I fucking hate you. I cannot." We didn't even know each other that well, so for him to be that, he was seething while he was driving, and he broke down crying one of the nights in the hotel. Yeah, I remember. It was one of those things. The whole gig was so weird, but one of them, we were in a nice hotel, and he called the room and he said, oh man, does your room have a giant hot tub too? And I was like, haha, very funny. And then I went to his room, and he was in the presidential suite of this like fancy Milwaukee hotel. He was being serious. I was like, oh geez. And that night, this is one of the worst gigs of my life, all around. That night we performed at a casino in Milwaukee, and the Brewers were in the playoffs against the Cardinals. And for some reason, the music venue in the casino was shut down, so they put the band Cheap Trick in the comedy club. And they moved, which I'm sure they weren't thrilled. They're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They're playing like, you know,
Surrender.
We watched them. They were great. It was a fun show. But then they put us in the bar during the playoffs. So we're like, hey, do you mind just turning the game off for the show? And they said no. It's the playoffs. They want to watch. So we had to perform through the play, and they were like, in less than 35 minutes, you don't get paid each. So and then as we walk outside after we both bomb. It was horrible. It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
The Brewers were getting killed, so they were like in a fucking... Joe started shitting on the city. He's like, fuck the Brewers. I hope the Cardinals kick your fucking ass, and they're booing. It was amazing. We get off, we walk out, and Joe's been doing comedy much longer than me at this point, especially, you know, and we walk out, and the giant poster just said Sam Morril in giant letters with Joe List. It was a tiny picture of Joe. And he was it was like the icing on the cake. And
so
then
he got the presidential suite and the top billing?
No, he got the presidential suite. He didn't get
that's what I'm saying, and the top billing.
No, I got the top billing.
Oh, you did? Oh, got it.
So he was pissed.
Yeah.
And then we start gambling, and Joe immediately lost like $200 on a gig and I didn't realize he was hammered.
Yeah.
He was shit-faced. This is when he still drank. He's sober, and I'm down. I'm up a couple hundred. He's down a couple hundred, and he was furious that I was winning. He was like just angry. He just hated me at this point. And the next day he was like, "How did we get home?" And I was like, you fucking asshole! You drove me home in a blackout. I was so mad at him. And really? I mean, the truth is, he's a better driver in a blackout than I was sober. So whatever.
Is that the night he cried?
He cried at the end of that night. Yeah. He was on the phone with, it was either Colin Quinn or Nick DiPaolo. He was friends with both of them. And I think he kind of asked their guidance a lot, especially at that point in his career. I think it was Nick, 'cause I think Nick said something like, kid, you're living the dream. You're doing great. And Joe's crying. I felt horrible, and now he's one of my best friends. But it's like, you know, we didn't get off on a good foot there.
Shit, and this was all like your brainstorm. You're like, you know what? Fuck these clubs. I'm gonna book us a tour.
Of course, because we weren't getting enough work, so I had to get creative. I didn't have a manager or an agent, so I just booked all my own stuff.
What'd you do? Did you just like call casinos?
I called clubs. I just cold emailed bookers, and I do like 15 a day, and I would get booked. I'd be working every weekend, but there would be gigs like this where they would suck. Damn. But I would get money for them. And
holy shit!
Yeah, that week was like backbreaking.
Dude, that's why I see like all these fucking comics that want to whine that for whatever reason they're not getting booked, whether it's their fucking gender or their whatever. It's like, no, did you do that? Did you cold call 15 fucking clubs a day? Did you, during a pandemic, get a crew and shoot fucking rooftop shows? Like, you know, there's a reason why people make it in this business. You got to be fucking undeniable. You have to just keep pushing.
You know what really bugged me too during the pandemic is those people on Twitter who would like it would a lot of time be like comedy writers, not even full-time comics, who would be like, oh, by the way, comics who we see working the road right now, we see you and we're talking about you. Like we're like, oh no, they're gossiping about the way I make a living. Like, first off, most comics took time off, and second off, like, who the fuck are you to tell someone how to make a living?
Yeah.
During a pandemic? Like, it's fucking evil, I thought.
Right.
But the roof thing was fun as hell.
Dude, I watched it yesterday. I hadn't seen it yet, so I sat down. I figured, you know what? I should watch a little bit of it just so I can talk to Sam about it tomorrow. I could not fucking turn it off. It was so good.
Thank you, man.
It's it was just... The concept obviously carries a lot of it, but it's also the execution was outstanding. It was like, you know, the editing was great. I like the way you had the man on the street stuff mixed in with, like, you know, talking to the crew and getting ready for shows. Like, the whole thing had like a real build to it. It was really great, man. Congrats.
Thanks, dude. I love doing it, and it's like a fun thing I never want to do again. It's funny, came out, once that came out, people were like, play my roof, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm never doing a roof roof again.
Yeah,
Like it still depresses me to see what some of the jokes in the special got as laughs, because like that's as good as it got in a roof. Like we mic'd the crowd, but I'm like, I want to hear it crushing off walls. You know, I'm a club comic, but
right. Well, just for people that don't know the special, it's called Up on the Roof, and it came out probably about 6 months ago. And you went out. It looks like you went out like in the fall, basically, of last year. And what did you do? Did you shoot it all in like a week or two, or how long was that spread out over?
We did like 10 shows, and 5 we couldn't use at all because of just technical difficulties. Like stuff would go wrong on every roof, so that was stressful. Me trying to shoot something, and like there's literally one of them. I'm on a roof in Williamsburg. I was running late, so I just had to start sprinting because Matt, the director, was so anal about. He's like, we need to get as the sun is going down. It's outdoors. It looks cool. Make sure we start at 6. And there'd be shows where people just, I'm like, well, no one's here yet. I'm not starting the show for 4 people. And he'd be like, this is the shot we need. So I sprinted from the L train in Brooklyn. I'm like running my ass off. So I'm drenched in sweat as I get brought on stage. And I'm like, this is like just the stress of shooting a special over 10 different shows of shit going wrong every time.
Right. Yeah, I think the final words of the whole special are, did we get it?
Yeah, like thank God it's over.
Was that intentional?
No, it wasn't intentional, but he loved it that I said that. I think he thought it was really funny that I said that, so he wanted to. Matt is also a New Yorker, and he's just like all about the views and the city and the energy, and like everyone was saying, there was that article, New York is dead, and I took such offense to that because you know, I'm a city kid. I was just angry about that. So I was like, look, it's definitely a little scarier and a little weirder, but also there's an energy still in the city, and like there was something guerrilla style about the special, and something kind of ugly, but also that I kind of liked. I kind of liked the ugliness of it. So it was cool. I was doing shows on, like, you know, the Lower East Side amphitheater. There'd be like a homeless guy sleeping 10 feet from me. It was so grungy and weird. But then they'd be like, you can do 10 minutes on my show. And I just was like, I can't write an act if I'm doing 10-minute sets. So I just started going to Instagram stories and said, if you got a roof, a mic, and an amp, I'll come through. So just.
And then how did you get the crowds to get there?
Well, it depends. Sometimes I would say, if you've got cool friends, I would do stories like, if you got cool friends, a mic, an amp, White Claw, beer, I'll come to your roof, and it'll be a party. It'll be really fun. I'll bring a good comic to open. And it like, people would either bring their friends, or I would just say private roof, that I'd get a fan to be like, I have a roof, but I don't have people I can bring. And I'd say, I'm on it. I would literally go through until it was like enough people. I'd get like 30 or 40 people, because if it was too many, I was scared, because it was still when people were like, we don't know if it's spreading outdoors, whatever. But also, if there weren't enough, like, I had to charge or people wouldn't show up. If I was just like, you're confirmed, but no, you know, if there's no financial investment, they're just like, I'm tired, I'm not going. Right.
So did you have any shows that were a bust, where you showed up and no crowd was there?
There's one show that made it that was a bust. It looked so cool that Matt made me keep it in. There was the one in Brooklyn where I'm wearing like I think I'm wearing like an orange shirt, and there were like kids hanging off a roof, so it looked awesome. The view of the bridge is awesome, but they were all like hipster artists, and it's like Brooklyn hipster artists are all looking at you like, we see your trick, but we're like not gonna laugh.
Dude, I felt like that. I did the Knitting Factory a couple times, and that's what it felt like when I went there. I was like, I'm never doing Williamsburg again.
Brooklyn's tough. I'll still do it just because, like, I'm like, it's just, sometimes I need to bomb, and sometimes I need to, like, I just want to make sure the jokes are, even if I'm not doing well, I want to make sure they still kind of acknowledge that the joke is kind of funny. Yeah. But that's what you get a lot of the time, just like an acknowledgement.
I think it really, I think the way it was shot really excused there not being, like you said, like that contained laugh that's bouncing off the walls. Like, it just totally makes sense. It felt like MTV Unplugged or something. It was like you were seeing a different energy from you. Like, I found you to be more connected to the crowd than I've seen you in other specials. Like, I felt like you were really talking to them and really playing off of them a lot.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, when the crowd's that small, it's that intimate. Like, it felt like, you know, I remember reading this book about Jewish settlers and how, like, music got them through the winters. Like, they would all sing these songs, and and they became so like be freezing their ass off, but singing together kind of brought them together. And I was like, man, that's kind of like what jokes feel like during a dark time, that you're just, there's this uncertainty, and it's they're used to like a club. Like I remember walking in the cellar and watching Dave Attell holding like a recorder, and he's doing bits, and it felt like we got nuked. It felt like these were like the survivors.
Yeah.
And it felt like, I mean, it was a dark year,
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It felt like, a special that needed to be done that'll never be done again. Like, and unless there's another pandemic, nobody's ever going to capture that feeling of like, there was really like, I think people think of you as this dark comic, but there's actually something about you that kind of like is bright, that comes through. Like you've got that little smirk, kind of shit-eating grin that you do. And it like, and it kind of like, it carried the darkness of the situation a little bit. If I'm saying
it's funny.
that right.
I never thought, people have said that to me. They're like, you're a dark comic. I'm like, well, I'll make jokes about abortion or something like that. But I always thought of myself as not a dark comic because, I would do silly turns. It wasn't like I was just doing it to do it. I was like, I'm only going to go there if I can find a really cartoonish turn.
Right.
So, yeah, thanks for saying that. Yeah, I felt like the special made me feel, it made me feel better about the situation. Like I was like, I'm busy. I'm doing something.
Yeah,
and I miss being busy.
Right. And then you were doing that thing. Are you single now?
No, I'm not.
Who are you dating?
Taylor.
Oh, you're still with Taylor.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
I think I thought you guys broke up because I've seen her out here. Did she move out here?
We did, but we're back. She's she does live out there, but we're both kind of going back and forth. She's spending a lot more time in New York, though.
Yeah, she's. I'd never seen her do stand-up before, and then I saw her at the Improv a few weeks ago, and I was like, "Holy shit, she's got chops."
She's got like, I don't know how many young comics have like road shops like that ever.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird to, she's like a road dog comic.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's been a comic like that before, that young.
A female comic, you're saying?
I think any comic. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, she started when she was probably what, like 16 or something?
Something, yeah, but she was doing churches, and she just writes a lot too. She's always writing, and always she digs. I guess there's a lot to dig from her personal life because she's had such a different type of life, and playing churches, and starting clean, and then becoming, having a little more edge to her act over the last couple years. Yeah,
right. Yeah, she it's almost like a throwback style. She's very like not aggressive, but assertive. She's very confident, and her jokes have like been clearly pared down from her 10,000 hours. Malcolm Gladwell saying like she feels like she's already done her 10,000 hours.
And she definitely has. She does the road. She was a young headliner on the road, so I think it's like that work ethic and that repetition, and being busy and working during the day on the road. It just shows. Yeah. It's a lot of comics on the road, and by a lot of comics I mean me. As a younger comic, we're drinking too much and not like I would write, but it was out of guilt. Like I'd be hungover and be like, I hate myself. I need a new joke. She's got the discipline. She has got like, she's got drive, but a lot of people have drive. She has a talent, Right. Now she's Michelle Wolf is kind of like that too. Yes.
Like she works her ass off, and she's got the talent. Yeah.
For sure. I haven't seen Michelle in so long. I just assume she's like doing push-ups somewhere, some sort like she's doing like an Ironman, and then like the second she finishes, she just like jogs into a comedy club and starts telling jokes. Yeah.
I know. I think she was, when she had that TV show, she apparently would do meetings while she was on the
treadmill.
On the treadmill.
Which I feel like she might have done a little bit just for the story, because like we're talking about it.
Yeah.
She's doing it, and like someone saw her. She's like, the legend will live.
Yeah, right. It's like I did I did a show. I used to be. You ever go to the Friars Club at all?
I did. I have a great Friars Club story.
Oh, because I fucking love the Friars Club. I've been my father was a member, so I spent my childhood going there, and then I joined, and it was a big part of my life when I lived in New York. And so I used to go to these shows all the time with these great old cast. Some of them are probably not even around anymore.
Freddie Roman, Buddy Hackett.
Freddie Roman, Buddy Hackett, Malzy Lawrence, Dick Capri, Freddie, but Freddie was the best. But anyway, Alan King, I worked with a few times, and he would show up to a gig, and he had a briefcase. And he would open the briefcase in the green room, and it would have a decanter in it with his special gin, and it had a little bottle of vermouth and a glass. And he would just ask for ice, and he would like make his own drink in the green room. And I always thought, like, that's for the story. You're doing that so people talk about you.
That is hilarious. You know, Norman and I are making our own whiskey.
Oh, are you really?
We have a distillery on board. We got them making a rye for us.
That's amazing.
I'm fine. That's not for the story. I always wanted a whiskey.
Dude, Ron White's making a fucking fortune on his tequila.
And it's just fun to have your own drink, to like have a friend over and be like, they're like, oh, what is this? You're like, it's mine. It's what I make.
Yeah, you feel less guilty getting shit-faced when it's your own whiskey.
For sure. You're like, I'm an entrepreneur here. This is a working man drunk.
Right.
It's also hilarious just sampling whiskeys. You're like, this is fucking crazy. Like, you feel powerful. Like this, it's almost like, you know, The Bachelor, but for drinks. You're just like choosing which gets cut. It's crazy. What
are you looking for in a whiskey?
I guess just a good buzz. Like some whiskeys, like coffee. You have a coffee and you can just tell what's cheap and tastes shitty. It's kind of modeled after Buffalo Trace because, which is a bourbon, which inexpensive, cool design of the bottle. Tastes really good. Like it's a good value. Like I think one of the big things was like, we want this to be like a cool aromatic type taste that also, is going to be under $40. I don't want people breaking the bank to drink this. Like I heard a story. Peyton Manning charges like $140 for a bottle of his whiskey, and I'm like, do you know what your fan base is?
Yeah.
Do you know what your demo is, Peyton?
Right.
So yeah, I wanted something that our, you know, people that like our comedy can afford and also enjoy and just gives a good, like it gave us a great buzz. Yeah,
if you're like LeBron, you can put out a champagne that's $250 and people are going to buy it. But if you're Peyton Manning, that's not your city, man. Look where you're playing.
Why don't you just say what you really mean, Greg, with this? No, I know what you're saying, but Drake has like a bourbon too, and it's like,
oh, that's right.
It looks like it's in a perfume bottle. It's the ugliest bottle I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of like, you're like, who's buying that? It just looks terrible.
Dude, you know who makes bank is Adam Carolla's Mangria.
I could see that.
He's been selling that for so long that clubs he works at have it on the shelf when he's not there.
That's pretty cool. That's the dream, man.
Yeah, I like it. All right, I want to talk about a couple of things from the special also, since I just saw it. Like that magician Stu that you talk about at the end of the special. Like I looked him up online, and he actually looks like he's a pretty decent magician.
Stu is not his real name, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I changed the name because I don't think he came off great in the story, so I was kind of like, let me not use his real name.
Wait, but I found a Stewart magician in Richmond, Virginia.
It's not him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but the guy is a legit magician. I will say that. Like he is a good. The real Stu is he was a gifted magician, and it was a crazy night.
That is the most insane fucking night. And the best is that you saw the guy cheat on his girlfriend, and then it turns out his real girlfriend is a stripper.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I would think if my girlfriend's a stripper, the last thing I'm doing is cheating, because it would feel like cheating. Just dating her feels like you're cheating.
He had the vibe of a ladies' man, and he also he was charming. Like he had this douche confidence that was just so. It just turned, once you're that douchey, it kind of just shifts back into like charisma.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he had it. And He was on AGT, I think. He was a known-ish magician.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, he did pretty well.
Yeah. Did you hook up with a stripper that night?
I didn't. I got a lap dance, but I didn't hook up with a stripper, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not a big strip club guy. It's not my...
no, me neither.
It's just, I just know they don't really like me, and it's kind of like,
That part doesn't bother me as much as, like, sometimes I step out of my own body and I look at my life. And in those moments when I'm in a strip club, I'm the same as all those other fucking guys that are... It's not that you're taking advantage of the women because they're there because they want to be, but it's just not. It's not the look I'm going for in my life.
It's not. I used to have a bit about how your friends always ask you to go to a strip club. My reasoning was always, and I would say this: I'm not going because those girls are victims of sexual abuse, and also it's too much money. That's what I would always say to people. I'm not going to take advantage of their shitty childhood. Not at those prices. That was the bit. But there was a part of me I always didn't like that it was part of the bachelor party too, because it was just kind of like a forced destination that I even I was like, I don't even feel like any of us are into this.
Yeah.
And then the one dude that is into it, you're kind of like, I didn't want him at the bachelor party anyway. It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah. The one time I really liked it, I was in Vegas, and it was a Howard Stern thing, and Howard was broadcasting out of Vegas for a week, so they had me come in and sit in for a couple of the days and on the air. And so after one of the shows, we went to the Spearmint Rhino.
Oh yeah, I've been there. It's a classic.
It's a classic, and we were promoting the shit out of them on the show because we kept talking about them. So when we went there, you walked in, and they gave Howard a fucking stack of fake $20 bills. But they're real $20 bills. Like, they work with the strippers. Like, a $20 lap dance is one of those $20 bills. So
That's
Howard
such a big strip club. They have their own form of currency. That's insane.
Oh, yeah. It's like Disneyland.
Oh, my God.
And so Howard gives me this pretty thick stack of 20s.
Wow. And
I'm sitting next to Artie Lang and Stuttering John, and we're just sitting there and picking and we're in the VIP room. So we're kind of like, nobody can see us because you don't want to be in the middle of a fucking room getting a lap dance. And we just got lap dance after lap dance. And that was the one time I really felt like, these girls are excited to be here. They're excited that it's Artie and Stuttering John and Howard. So it really felt like a party where we were also getting lap dances for free.
I think I've heard at least one version of this story from Artie, I think. Yeah. Where it caused some friction with him and his ex-girlfriend.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But damn, yeah, Spearmint Rhino, I went there at my brother-in-law's bachelor party, and I was like, this is crazy. That was the only one that I was like, this is kind of cool. But there's something about them that I just maybe I'm at the age now where I'm just like a little too old. Like, I just feel like I'm older than them. I don't like, I don't know. When you're young, it's kind of like, well, they're older than me. This is okay. But then when you become older, it becomes a little weird.
Yeah. Right. I wonder if people feel like that about comedians.
I hope not.
So what else? So you got this. So this got 1 million. I just looked it up. It's got almost 1 million views now. This
That's
roof
good.
special.
Yeah, my other one did so much better because it was on Comedy Central's YouTube. I didn't have a following. I just started posting on YouTube. I didn't realize I needed. It's like, how many social medias do we have to be on? There's like YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Then there's going to be a new one any day. So it's like you never know, but you really do have to have them all up and running. You got to be your own business these days.
And you also have to monitor like comments, on every one of them. Even fucking TikTok, people can comment now. And so say you post something on YouTube, comments there. Obviously, anything on Twitter and Instagram, you got comments there. And then you have a phone number you give out that people can text you.
Yeah, I use that in the special. It's called Community, and it's not my actual number, but I can text anyone who sends me stuff. But I could also send mass text by location, so that's why I was using it. So if I was say I was in like the Lower East Side, I could do like 2 to 3 miles radius. Hey, doing a show in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Hurry up and you'll get in. Like that was like we were low on people, so I use it more for that.
Right.
But I'll answer a text occasionally. But I also, like, you could spend so much time on there, and, like, my ADD is so bad that if I get pulled away from trying to write, I just get stuck.
Yeah,
you know, I need to be, if I'm trying to focus, like, the amount of attention you have to even pay to your phone, like, incoming text, like, all day, and it could just be bullshit from a friend, but, you know, it's hard for me to focus.
Right. Yeah, it's hard for me to transition. If you give me one task, I have ADD also, and if you give me one task, I can fucking hyper-focus, I can get deep into it, and I can get shit done. But as soon as I have to do something else and then come back to it, I kind of lose steam.
Oh, dude, it's brutal. I'm on the road now, and I just, you know, I'm dealing with, like, a lot of neck and back pain that I've been having for the last few years, and it's been brutal the last month or so. And I called, I've been calling doctors to get a spine doctor, and everyone is like, well, we don't accept that insurance, or you have to do this. There's always like a catch, every person I call, and then you call the doctor that you saw, and they're like, oh, well, we should have done an x-ray. Now you have to. So you get sent back and forth from everybody. And then you get to a point where you're just like, I give up. I'll just live with back pain, you know?
Yeah.
And I realize that happens to me like once a year, where I'm like, I'm going to do something about it this year. And then I just it's too much. It's overwhelming for me to keep dealing with the calls. Are you still there?
Oh, there you go.
Dude, you know what? It's fucking Holiday Inn. Sorry, man. This hotel stinks. The internet.
Yeah, I remember that hotel.
I'm still recording.
Okay, good. That's good. So yeah, I had back pains, and the only thing that worked for me was yoga. I just, even though it hurt to do the yoga, the more I did it, the more it like supported my whole core and made me, you know, sit up straight.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm gonna have to start doing it.
Yeah, you gotta do some yoga, man.
I'm gonna do it.
Well, you're a swimmer, right?
No, but I would go before COVID, I would go to the rec center all the time, because it was it was literally like $150 for the whole year, and you got a gym. And then I've talked to people who are like, yeah, I got a staph infection from that place, you know, and you're like, that's kind of gross, you know. But I would go there just being like, it's so funny. That's my mind. I'm like, I'm getting a deal, you know. Right, this is great. Instead of thinking like, oh yeah, homeless people piss and shit here.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I love that place. There's a basketball court. There's a gym. It was the best.
Wait, what's the rec center?
They're all over New York City. You just
really?
Go to, nyc.gov, and they're all over the place. That pool gets crowded, though. I'll tell you, like, you get in lanes, and you're like, I got to get like a rapport going with like an old lady. It's Asian. There's like a bunch of Asian dudes in there always. Yeah. Good swimmers, the Asians.
Oh yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
Let's say racist things that are all positive. That's amazing when you say nice things. You say like,
I was going to say that I was cheap, but I'm going to say, you know what, Jews, we can be very frugal. That's a positive. Yeah. Right.
Irish people, we really know how to celebrate.
Yes. Black people, good at avoiding pools. Right? That's a skill.
I got to go back to New York this summer, and what's the deal with the clubs? Are they 100% yet?
Cellar just became 100%. Best set I've had in a year. At the midnight show, it was great. It was like electric. I was like, oh, that's like... And of course, my friend Matt is there because we're filming something else. They're going to direct my roof special, and he's like, I look out, I'm killing it. It's like my best set in a year, and he's filming the crowd and not me. And he's like, I got to get their energy to show the change. And I'm like, you fucking asshole. This is like the hardest I've killed in literally like 15 months.
Really?
And but no, he's the best. And we started filming stuff and just kind of caught from the beginning when it was 33% full, and it was weird, and there were some weird crowds. It's weird when the cellar is not full, because that's kind of what made the cellar. The cellar is the just that it was overwhelming with people, that you knew it was a hot ticket. That and then once it becomes a little less full, you see those people that are a little arrogant. They're like, this isn't full. I can talk, Yeah,
right.
So it got tough. And now it's back to where it should be. And man, I mean, the other night it was like Louie and Rock back to back, and you're like, oh, all right.
No shit. Wow.
They're not fucking around right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
I mean, my first spot back at Gotham, I followed Seinfeld. It's like they have the hunger to be up, these guys. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think over the past year, people had a lot of time to think about, people like Seinfeld had time to think about like what their life is about, what makes them happy, what's missing. And I think stand-up became like this thing where they realized all along, like, this is it. This is like my gift. This is my joy. And I see that now, like fucking, Kevin Nealon, guys he didn't see in the clubs as much, like coming out. Nealon's out there. Norm Macdonald, like all of a sudden people are coming out of the woodwork and doing stand-up again. It's fucking great.
That was my fear, is that now the lineups are going to be like, so it's like going to be hard to get stage time again.
Oh yeah.
But there's enough places, and I think there's an appetite. People want entered. I mean, that's what I felt even on the roofs, is that I was like, are people going to come to these roofs again and again? But people kept showing up because how many nights can you watch Hulu or Netflix, or like how many times can you watch Queen's Gambit before you're like, all right, I'm out, I'm doing stuff, So
yeah, I think comedy is going to have a boom right now. I think people want to celebrate being together again, and it sort of feels like a theater feels, to me, more dangerous than a comedy club, which feels like a little bit more spaced out. Even though in a theater, I guess people could wear their masks because they're not eating and drinking.
That's true. Although I feel like people are like over that. Even I'm in Florida, and like there was a point during the pandemic where I was like, what is wrong with these Floridians? But now I'm like, I see people in a mask, and a part of me is like, sucker,
Yeah,
so
right.
You get mask fatigue, I think. That's so funny that Jerry is also just like at your core. You could be worth. I saw there was an article with Jerry recently. Someone just sent this to me where he's like, all you need for happiness is body weights and transcendental meditation. And you're like, maybe, but you don't want to hear that from a billionaire,
Yeah, right.
It's a little annoying.
Yeah.
Rupert Murdoch's keys to happiness.
Yeah. Yeah, the key is to do your TM while you're in a $15 million apartment on the Upper West Side. That helps you really get
I think you might be undervaluing that estate right there.
Oh, yeah. What am I thinking?
Doesn't he have like a whole block for his cars? I think he's doing all right.
Yeah. He's got an entire garage. He bought a fucking parking garage in the city. That's just for his city cars. Then he's got a hangar out in Long Island.
Wow.
Then he's got another hangar out here in Santa Monica at the airport.
What I do love about Jerry, though, is he really is a comic at heart, and it was cool to see. He was emotional. He was like tearing up when he got off stage. You're like, fuck, like everyone has been like, we are so starved for attention as entertainers. Yeah. Like something was missing, and even if you had a good childhood, something was missing where like you didn't feel seen or heard in some way, and that's why you need this. And for a year, that's been bottled up in all of us.
Yeah, it's become after 31 years, and like I had never taken off more than 3 weeks in 31 years.
Yeah,
like literally.
Wow.
And so it's been so like. It's in my fucking hard drive now of just like receiving these doses, these drips of positive affirmation and acceptance, and the ability to create something that day and do it that night and receive something for it. It was so weird, and I think it put me in a deep depression. Like I'm just coming out of the depression. It really hit me hard.
Yeah, man. It was a weird. It was a weird year to just, and also like, it's funny, like the repetition for me doing the road never really gets me that down, but the repetition of that COVID life, I mean, when you're working, at least I felt that work always helped my anxiety. I'm like, well, I'm working. This is all I can do. I'm working. I'm getting money coming in. I'm also working at my comedy. I'm writing new bits. Like that all those things put my anxiety to rest. But when you're just sitting around and it's not just that you're doing nothing, there's nothing you can do. I mean, that was crazy.
Right. Yeah, and if I'd known it was going to be a year, like I sort of feel like guys like you and Bo Burnham, I don't know if you saw Bo Burnham's special.
I'm like 25 minutes in, and I got to go back. I was tired.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I've heard different people have different reactions to it. But the fact that he did it, though, and the fact that you did this rooftop thing, I think there's probably some resentment from other people that feel like, hey, wait a minute. They're waving the yellow flag. This is a fucking safety lap. What do they call it? Like, you stay in your lane. That's literally where the phrase stay in your lane comes from. And you guys fucking know. You cheated.
Well, they should be more mad at Bo because I'm sure he got a lot of money for his, and I literally lost money on mine. So be mad at the famous person, and
right. But wait, so don't you get paid from YouTube though? Don't you? I
didn't even monetize this special because I just wanted eyeballs on it.
Right.
But yeah, I'm sure I monetize a few things, but no, I don't really. I just use these, but like I'll say this, like people are coming out to see me on the road more than ever in my career. So I think putting out the specials the way I did, like just taking a hit on that one, and then not a big hit, like a minor hit, but then just making a little bit on the Comedy Central one on YouTube. Like it, if you know you're going to be on the road every week and audience makes a difference and you get a door deal like that made a huge difference for me financially on the road. So
right.
You know, it worked. People came out. Now I'm like fucking writing a new hour, and I'm like, man, this is pretty tiring. But
so the material you're doing now is nothing from the last special.
I opened with about 40 minutes that's not in the Roof special, and then I'm just closing on some old shit just so they get a good show because I don't want to just be dropping verbal diarrhea on them. Right. But I think there's some good stuff here, and it's not there yet, but it's good enough to do for people that have come out to see me because I think I'm cutting fat every show. Where I can. Right.
You taping your sets and listening to them?
Yeah, I've been bad about listening to them. I used to listen more, but I kind of just fast forward to the brand new stuff now.
Yeah.
But all the way through, it's the best way to write, and I've been bad about it, so I got to get back. But yeah, I am recording every show just because. You know, I think posting clips for me is like what people, like the people that are following me want to see. So I just try to keep posting little snippets. And if I can avoid burning material from the next hour, I do. If it's like a crowd work thing or a heckler, that's ideal. But then every once in a while you get a person who's like, what, I'm heckling. These are good for your thing.
Right.
And I'm just like, but not you. You don't want the person who's aware that it's good doing it. I want some dumb drunk bimbo doing it, you know?
Are you? How are you taping on the road? Or do you have somebody there with you?
I just put I got a good camera. I just put it in the back stationary, and that's usually good enough quality.
And you use the sound just off the camera?
I'll record on my phone. I used to do a lapel mic, but then I'm like, I'm fucking lazy. I'll just use my iPhone, and the sound's usually good enough from there.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's a good idea. I taped a special. I wanted to do a special a year ago, and so I had the hour together, and so I taped it at Portland Helium Comedy Club.
I'm there in August. That's a great club.
Fucking great club. And so there's a guy up there. I'll give you his name if you want to come out. He's very reasonable, and he comes out with 2 cameras, and he puts like 5 mics over the crowd.
Wow.
And I just wanted the hour so I could show it to Netflix and Comedy Central. So I recorded it, and I didn't even know I was going to do it. He emailed me 2 months before, and he said, "Do you want me to come out and tape your shows?" And I said, "Yeah, that'd be great." I totally spaced. I get to the club, and there's a guy with a camera set up, and I go, "Hey, who's the guy with the camera?" "He's here to tape you." I go, "What?" I go, "Oh, fuck." So, like, I hadn't even gone over the hour. Like, it wasn't, no. I hadn't studied, and so it was like an exam that I hadn't studied for. But which kind of worked well because it was looser, and so I recorded it. I did 2 shows, and then I ended up because of the pandemic, I was like, well, there's no way I'm taping a special in next year, so I just put it out in 1 or 2 minute clips every Friday during the whole year during the pandemic. And now I think I'm probably gonna just do what you did and just put it on YouTube.
Smart, man, because I think every time you post a clip you get new fans because people tag their friends or they're just like, oh, this is the guy I was telling you to see. So I think all that stuff is huge, and YouTube is, I just dealt with it, having specials that were on TV a couple of times. I mean, you could, I'm sure it happened to you too. Is like you're promoting a time, and people are like, and all your comic friends who some of which have big followings, you're wasting this promotion on watch at 11 p.m. and none of those fucking people are gonna just. No. But if you have a link, they click on the link out of curiosity, and if you get them in the first couple of jokes, they might stick around, and maybe you have a new fan. So.
Right.
I mean, it sucks. You get a little bit of an ego hit not getting paid for your work, and I've talked to comics who are very successful about this, and comics who are very innovative in their own way would say things to me like, "You're crazy if you don't get paid for your work." And I was like, well, it's just a different form of payment. It's on the road. I know that you get millions of dollars for your special, but there's literally no one biting on mine. So this is, I just want to stop telling these jokes. I won't write a new act unless I force myself.
Right.
So for me, it was good. And then some of those people who saw that, I think now are like, yeah, I think you did the right thing.
Yeah. Right.
But it's at the time when they are getting like millions for a special, whatever they get, it's hard for them to comprehend putting out a free special, you know?
But it's all about, like, you know, if say you get paid millions for a special down the road, like it's just entirely possible on the kind of trajectory that you're on right now. You're getting so many millions of views that I can see like Netflix or somebody giving you those millions. Then you look back and you go, that's way too much money. So get that way too much money later and do it for free now so we can get you to that place. And it's like, I remember Rogan, I was talking to him about maybe doing a Patreon on my podcast. And I said, you know, maybe I'll do like an extra one and make a Patreon. He's like, dude, just give everybody everything for free all the time. And then you'll just keep building. Was this before or after
he took $100 million from Spotify?
Right. It was way before. And
everyone, it's funny. I've had people give me advice that they themselves don't follow. And I'm just like, wait a second.
Yeah. Well, I think he got to the point where he made his point.
No, for sure. No, I mean, he got that right because of all the 3-hour episodes he put out. And he
5
does
days
know.
a week. Yeah.
I mean, he was a machine with that. I mean, having the gift of gab like that. Yeah. So, oh man, and by the way, your COVID joke about fucking the dog is excellent.
Oh, thanks, man.
It was cool to see everyone share. It's fun when everyone's sharing a clip.
Yeah, it was crazy. All those guys just got together and put it out together, and
you get more fans from that than you do from a special. It's hilarious. Like Tom Segura just posted the trailer, and I think that got me of my rooftop special, and I think that got me more fans than like.
Oh really?
Almost, yeah, because he's got such a massive following.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, it's nice when with him. He's got Bert. You know, he does that podcast with Bert Kreischer.
Yeah,
Two Bears, One Cave. So Bert's overseas doing some films, so I sat in with Tom and I guest hosted for Bert one day this week, and I'm just sitting there and like I've known Tom since like going to his apartment with him and Christina, this fucking dump. It was down in like Redondo or something, and it was in like a stucco condo building, and I remember thinking like I felt sad for them because I was like, God, look at them, they're married and like they're gonna have a kid, and I thought they were both super talented, but it wasn't working. And I mean, within fucking 2 years they were in a mansion and like, you know, building a studio, and it just happened. It didn't happen overnight. It took them years, but once it happened
quickly.
It happened very quickly. I feel like you're right in that spot right now where, you know, things are really blowing up for you.
It's been way better than it ever was. So I'm like grateful. It's hard to feel the good for me. Like that's something I've had to work on in therapy. Like I don't feel, it's funny. Like Taylor will say stuff to me like, these young comics look up to you, and I'm just like, I don't feel that. So I don't, it's hard for me to like just feel good, or like even when you're like, you know, I played this room in Tampa for like 10 years. This is the first time I've sold out every show, and it's weird. I'm kind of like, oh wow, look at that, instead of being like, holy shit, that's fucking, I'm not good at taking a step back and feeling the good, because I almost feel like guilty. Like I'm like, oh, that's not, I don't know why I can't do it, but I just can't.
What does your therapist say it is?
Geez, I think he thinks I just always have to be in work mode. Like that's just like, he's like, you're just stuck in work mode. And
like you feel like if you take it in and appreciate it, you might miss a step.
If I get drunk, I can appreciate it. Like if I'm drunk, I'm like, oh fuck, that's crazy, you know?
Yeah.
But if I'm just sober, I'm like, I'm just kind of, maybe I'm a little tight. I don't know. But, you know, this is like the best it's ever been. I hope it keeps staying like this. This is it's way easier to write a new act when there are people there who paid to see you, as opposed, although last night someone wrote a comment card that said, it just said not good, circled not good, comic, I'd like to see Michael Rappaport, suggestion for restaurant, more vegan options, and at the top it said Holocaust jokes are not funny. And I'm like, you know what, I think I made a pretty good fucking Holocaust joke. So I wrote it that day and I felt pretty good about it, and it killed.
It's tragedy plus time. It's been fucking 70 years.
I was pretty annoyed. I was also mocking fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene in the joke. It's like she just heard the word Holocaust and was like, "This is offensive." And also, guess what? If I want to do a fucking dark Holocaust joke, I'll find I'll find a way. But that comment card made me laugh. So those.
Wait, what are you doing? They have comment cards at Side Splitters?
I guess so. I didn't know.
So what did you do? Go through them at the end of the show?
No, Brian, the owner, handed it to me because he thought I would find it funny. He was right. I do, and I love club owners. Like, look, I'm annoyed by any comment card, but I like that he knows that not only he knows I would find it funny, but that he finds it funny. Like he's that much obviously on the comic side. But I remember years ago I was doing this joke about a alligator eating a baby at Disney, and I walked someone at this club in Tampa, and not only did I walk her, she posted a picture of herself crying to the Side Splitters Facebook page. Like, this is how sad you made me. I cried. and I found, he sent it to me. He goes, this is amazing. I was like, all right. Yeah, so he knows I find that shit. Like, that's insane, right? Like, I didn't care for the act. I'm leaving. But for her to like post a picture crying, like, that's you're fantastic. Out of your fucking mind.
Yeah. The, on your special, you talked about TripAdvisor has comments on comedians.
Yeah. I
didn't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know how I saw it one time, but one time I saw someone wrote this hateful review about me, about Naples. It was like the worst weekend of my life for so many reasons, but yeah, I laughed out loud when I read it. Like, when people hate me that much, it does make me laugh because I'm like, what? I'd so much rather that than he was okay.
Yeah.
You know, if someone just thinks I'm okay, then I'm like, wow, I'm bad.
Yeah.
If someone's like, you're the worst thing I've ever seen, I elicited something to the point that I'm like, well, that was at least how you remember me forever.
Yeah.
And just the anger in them, like, I can't imagine, like, first off, you have a bad life. If you have, I looked at how many TripAdvisor reviews this person had, and she had like 600, to the point where I'm like, you should take a break from writing reviews. Like, no one with a great life is like, no one's just planted at their fucking computer. So the review was basically just like, everything about it made me laugh too. One of the lines I remember was like, we were there with our son, or with our adult autistic grandson. I was like, who the fuck refers to their grandson as an adult autistic? Just say you were there with your grandson.
Right.
And she said I made fun of autistic people, which I didn't even do. I made like a joke about like an autism benefit, but it wasn't like mocking autistic people.
Yeah. You got heckled by some woman on the street. You were doing a little rant to the camera, and she goes, "Are you a comedian? That's not funny."
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I'm a comedian. That's good. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, she was so angry, and she was clearly one of those people that's never had any of her views challenged in any way. Because I just asked her how I was even being nice. I was like, "How is that offensive?" And she was like, "She's like, just leave me alone." She's like, "You first off, you talk to me."
Right.
So I'm like, I'm not going to linger. But the best part was literally 15 feet down the road, this woman goes, "Oh, I love your comedy." And we got that on camera too. I was like, man, that's the most New York shit ever. Someone's like, "I fucking hate you." And the next one's like, "Oh, I'm a big fan." I was like, "Oh, this is beautiful. This is so New York." And
that special made me miss New York. It really captured that energy of like just stepping over a homeless guy and then seeing a perfect 10 walk past you 3 seconds later.
It's got a lot. There's a lot going on, and it's funny. And that there was that one clip I remember from the special, because I remember being like, "I'll tell you this city," because I was doing Rodney Dangerfield impressions. Every time the camera would go off, I would just be doing Dangerfield jokes, because my friend Matt would crack up every time I do it. So even when I kind of dip in, I go, "I'll tell you this city," and it's right after all that. But that's what I love about the city. Is like, I mean, even when someone's she bugged me, but also it was great that we got it on camera. She's like, "You better not use this," and I was like, "I'm not using this." And the second we walked away, I was like, "We got to use this." But we just blurred her face.
Yeah, probably did her a favor.
Yeah, I absolutely. But.
All right, so listen, I'll let you go because you're on the road, and I appreciate you taking time out. I know sometimes like people think you're sitting in a hotel room all day and you got nothing to do, but like sometimes that's actually when you get all your shit done.
For sure.
Finally,
For sure. Yeah. I mean, look, I had a busy day. I went to Tampa Joe's across the street. Got got a salad. So I've been doing stuff.
Yep.
I'm gonna go over notes for the show, man. But it's always great to see you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. And
I just talked to Taylor. Just was saying how funny you were. We were just on the phone. I said I'm doing Fitzsimmons podcast, and she's like, "Oh, he's funny." And she goes, "And I like the way he talks about his wife on stage." She's like, "Not a lot of guys. So many comics are like, oh, my fucking wife,' but like he actually like doesn't make her sound like an idiot." And I was like, "Yeah, I think he's happily married. I think that's what it is."
Yeah. Couldn't be happier. I know. Yeah. It's. I wish the same on you, my friend. I don't know if it'll be with Taylor, but whoever it's with, man, nothing will keep you fucking more sane in this business than finding somebody that you can count on, you know.
You're right. You're very right.
So anyway, I'll just give a few of your dates because you're on tour literally every weekend for like the next 6 months. It's fucking crazy. June 25th through 27th, Good Nights Comedy Club in Raleigh. You may be one of the last people going through there. I think they're going to rebuild that building very soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Liberty Township, Ohio, Funny Bone, July 2nd and 3rd.
Tickets slow for that weekend, so get on it, guys.
July 8th through 10th, Madison, Wisconsin, Comedy on State. That's going to sell out, so I would get on that fast.
Amazing club.
July 15th through 17th, Oklahoma City, Bricktown Comedy Club. July 23rd through 25th, Zanies in Nashville. And other dates, again, go to sammorril.com, Morril. And check out the special. I Got This, his old special, is on YouTube as well as Up on the Roof, which is also on YouTube.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. I'll see you in New York this summer. I'll be there in August.
Awesome.